So today, I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't really think of a second video to put out this month, and I'm kind of feeling like being a today. So today, we're gonna be ranking these Sparklink character designs, and we're gonna have fun, we're gonna be messy, we're gonna be assholes, and I mean, yeah, I know it's like me of all people talking about character design, but I have a lot of thoughts on these, and I just want to talk about it, and also, again, I feel like being a and I couldn't think of anything else to put out this month. So, we're gonna be doing this. I am working on a longer video about Sparkling stars and the controversies and the boycott going on. I'm kind of waiting for more information about things to come out and waiting for any bigger developments. I have started researching and translating and working on the video. I am just kind of working at it kind of slowly though, so I don't know when that's going to come out. I'll try and get it out before the game comes out next year, but yeah, I don't know when that's happening. But for now, we have this. So, before we get to my tiers, I just want to say that my criteria for ranking these characters and judging them is 1, do I think the design is fun? Do I think it's cool looking? Do I think it's exciting? Yeah. And then, do I think that this is actually a good representation of the character they're sparked from? So, like, would I be able to look at this character and be like, oh yeah, they're sparked from, like, Donald Duck or something? So those are our criteria. And then here are the actual tiers. So the first one is an actually good design, and, this is what it says on the tin. I think the design is fun, I think it's exciting, and I think that it's a very good representation of the inspiration character. Next one is attractive, but who is this? And this is a character design that I think is really cool, but in a vacuum. Like, I think when it comes to representing a Disney character, it's awful, but I think overall the character design is actually kind of cool, but it's only cool if you divorce it entirely from Sparkling stars, which is not the greatest thing. Second, we have an attempt was made. This is like, I can see what they were going for, and I think the design is okay, but like, I feel like it just wasn't as good as it could have been, and I think that an attempt was made. It's not terrible, but it could have been way better. Second to last, we have a Marlon Blando, which I stole that term from my friend Dorcas. These are characters that I just think the design kind of missed the mark on everything. I don't think it's terrible, and I see some things that they did, but I think overall just not good. And finally, we have Who the Fuck Is This? And these are for designs that I think just suck. These are designs that I think really miss the mark just in general, and I think they really miss the mark when it comes to being inspired by a Disney character. There may be some things where it's like, I see what you did there, but I think, like, if I didn't know anything about Sparkling Stars and you showed me a picture of this character and you were like, what Disney character is this based off of, I would not be able to guess. Like, I would be completely lost. So that is kind of our criteria for that. It is a little bit more vibes-based, I'm not gonna lie. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and actually start ranking these characters. So first up, we have Naomi Shell. He's sparked from Mickey Mouse, and we're starting off strong, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel like for me it's really between these two, but I think ultimately he does unfortunately end up in the who the f is this tier. I think his outfit is okay. It doesn't really scream Mickey Mouse to me, but it's like I can definitely see the inspiration there, so that's something at least. I just don't think it's the best representation of Mickey though. That being said, I think that this character design just really missed the mark. I think it's very bland. And I think that it's very difficult to tell that this is supposed to be based off of Mickey Mouse. The one thing that I can say in favor of this design, and this is a double-edged sword to be completely fair, is his hairstyle. I think that like Mickey kind of has like the black fur that makes the M shape. I think that it was a very fun and very like cool idea for them to do this like anime M-shaped bangs for Neo. I think that's a very cool connection. Unfortunately though, that is such a generic anime hairstyle that, frankly, I did not even realize that's what they were doing until I was looking at that picture right before, like, recording. And this character has been announced for, like, a couple days at this point. So I think the fact that it took me several days to figure that out is not a great thing. Again, it's one of those things, it's like, I see what you did there, and I think that, like, I get it. I just think that, unfortunately, it's very generic. And he ends up looking generic. Like, I've seen a lot of redesigns that give him space buns, and I think that would have been a massive upgrade to his character design. But as it is right now, I just don't think that it really screams Mickey Mouse to me. I think, unfortunately, it's just the blandness and genericness and the, like, huh-ness of this all that puts him in this tier. I do think you could add, like, a couple little extra things to him, and it would, bump him up to a Marlon Blando. But unfortunately, this design is just, it's bland, it's confusing on who he's supposed to be, like, sparked from. It doesn't really just read Mickey Mouse to me, unfortunately, and that's really why he is, unfortunately, in the bottom tier. Next up, we have Hugh Gardner, and this might be a bit of a controversial placement. I see what they did. I see what they were going for. On one hand, I feel like they kind of did the best they could, but on the other hand, it's just, it's okay. I think that interpreting Goofy's ears as the little hairpieces for Hugh, I think that's a great idea. I think that's like such a good idea. And I do think just vibes-wise, Hugh does give off Goofy vibes, so it's, for me, a lot more clear of who he's supposed to be sparked from. That being said, I do think that maybe we could have had a little bit more orange. I do think that maybe we could have leaned in a little bit more for Goofy design-wise. I kind of wish that the hat was a bit of a different shape, which I know that's like a completely like wild suggestion and stuff, but like, I don't know. It's like, I see what they were doing here, and I do think he does read as Goofy, but I just think that it's like not fully there. I don't know how to really describe that, but I think that is the best I can unfortunately describe it. He's almost there. He's just not quite there. Also, like, would it have killed you guys to give him actual melanin? Like, would that have really been so hard? Like, he's kind of gray. Like, that, guys, come on. It should have never been hard to give melanated characters actual brown skin. But, like, come on, it's 2026. Like, guys, come on. So, next up is Dee Dee Cedric Bird. I'm just gonna address the elephant in the room. I fucking hate his name. I'm calling him Cedric. I'm not even calling him Dee Dee. Like, no, that's a why? That's a stupid name. And listen, like, I know that I come from the Yana Toboso school of naming characters. I get it. Like, naming characters is hard. That being said, at least with Yana, like, the characters look like they could be named that. Is Fellow Honest a stupid name? Absolutely. But he does look like his name is Fellow Honest. Like, it looks like he popped out of his mom's vagina and she was like, oh, his name will be Fellow. Because he looks like his name would be Fellow. I don't know that I would say that Cedric looks like his name would be Dee Dee Cedric Bird. I feel like that name is just so fucking awful. And it, honestly, when I first started making this video, I literally had a tier just for him of worst name. But then I decided to take it out because I was like, you know what? We're going to be nice. We're going to be a bit more fair. So we are. And ultimately, I think I am going to put him with Hugh. That being said, I don't like his design all that much. Aesthetically, personally, I'm not a big fan of the sailor aesthetic. But I think when it comes to paying an homage to Donald Duck, I think that his design is actually pretty clear. Oh, you know what? Actually, now that I'm saying that, I think, unfortunately, I do have to put him there. I don't think he's attractive. Like, if that man was like, can I buy you dinner? I'd be like, who is Josh Groban? Fill in the blanks there. You know what? I think, unfortunately, he probably is one of the better designs in the game. I think that the sailor design for his outfit is a great, you know, indicator of Donald. I think the hair colors work really well. The beret works well. Overall, I think that he's actually a very good design of Donald Duck. That being said, though, I really hate his name. I think that his name is terrible, and I mean, I guess that's it. You know, you win some, you lose some. Is he a pretty good Donald Duck design? Yeah. But does he have a good name? No! But that being said, I feel like you could look at this character and you're like, oh, that's based off of Donald Duck. Like, very easily, you know? And I feel like a lot of care was put into this design specifically. Okay, so next up we have Raska, and he is based off of, Chip. I always had to do the, like, Chip is the one with the brown nose, and Dale is the other one, so this is Chip. I mean, what else can I say? I think the design is just, it sucks. Like, I think this design just sucks. I would not be able to get Chip out of that. I think they could have gone much heavier with the theming on these two. Like, you know, Ronka also has this a bit too, but like, I just think they could have gone a bit better for that, and I feel like, also, like, the hair. They do have some, like, multicolored hair, but I feel like we could have gone a little harder for that. And I don't feel like this is a good iteration of Chip. I just don't think it is. Like, I think the design itself is bland, and I just don't think that it's a good iteration of him. I really don't like the next two designs, I'm gonna be really honest. Next up, we have Dale. I'm not gonna lie, it's between these two. It's really between these two. You know what? I think I would put him in a Marlon Brando. No, don't get me wrong, I think his design is bad. Again, if you showed me this character and you were like, who is this based off of? I would not be able to tell you. But that being said, I do think that it is a bit more clear with his design, that like, you know, Chip and Dale theming. That being said, I just don't think that he is giving Dale at all. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I think it's just the hair color they chose from him, but he's in like the sleepy demeanor and stuff. He really just seems like they gender bent Kanata from Nijigasaki, like Love Live and everything. Because she's like a sleepy idol and she has like that hair color. Congratulations to Kanata for his transition. No, but like I don't like this design. I do kind of get a bit more Chip and Dale vibes from him, but like honestly, at the end of the day, I still am just like, who is this? Like, it misses so many marks for me, and I honestly, it kind of sucks. Like, I feel like they could have gone pretty strong, and I do really appreciate the strong character posing. Some of them are just really kind of awful character poses. I really appreciate that, like, you can see him, and you can see, like, oh, he's like a sleepy character. I really appreciate that. That being said, I don't really get a lot of Chip and Dale vibes. And while I do think that the theming is stronger with him than it is with Rosca, I still just, it's closer. But, you know, it needs a lot of work, and I don't think it's as clear as, you know, Q, so we're putting him there. And that is the end of Upbeats, so we got all of them. Not gonna lie, this is kind of bad. I'm not gonna lie. Next up, we have Lafta Vox. Again, I hate some of these names. So, Lafta Vox. I'm between these three, I'm not gonna lie. You know what? I think I'm gonna be nice, and I'm gonna put him in Attempt Was Made. I don't like his design. I think it's extremely ugly. That being said, I do see there was an attempt made, though. I can kind of see what they were going for. They have the green eye like Mike. They have the, you know, one eye showing. They have the sharp teeth like him. I think that, you know, all things considered, not the worst. That being said, I still just don't think that it's, like, strong enough. I think maybe instead of doing the black hair, I would have maybe done like a dark green to a neon. Maybe something like that. I would have given him like little horns. I feel like he's on the right path. I think he's fairly close and he needs just a couple of tweaks, but he's not great. He could be though. He could be, but he just slightly misses the mark for me. Next up, we have Shu. I'm not gonna lie, I think Shu is very attractive. I think he's extremely attractive. I don't think anyone is necessarily surprised to hear that. That being said, I don't think he's a good representation of Sully. My friend Crab has been like, he should have been a buff himbo, which I agree. I do think that he should have been buff. That being said, I do actually kind of get the characterization they're going for him, so I do disagree with Crab in that regard, but, like, I do agree. I think they should have been, like, a bit beefier, and I do think they should have given him actual horns. I think those are barrettes. I could be wrong on that, though. I will fully admit I could be incorrect on that. I would have preferred the colors on him to be a little bit more vibrant. They are very muted, and while I don't think that's inherently, like, a bad decision, and I do think that they could have, you know, they could have done more with him. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like Lafta is far closer to Mike than Shu is to Sully, and that kind of sucks. Is he attractive? Yes. But who is this man? Like, who is he sparked from? Who is this? Next up, we have Noah, and again, attractive, but who is this? I'm not gonna lie, I actually really love Noah's design in a vacuum. I think if he were, like, the mascot anime character for, like, a glasses company, I'm sold. I really like his design. I love that it just looks so sleek and cool, and I really like this design. That being said, though, I just don't think that it's a good representation of Roz. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know how you would exactly change him to make him look more like Roz without just completely scrapping him and starting from the ground up. I don't know. I feel like Noah is a great design. I just don't feel like it's a good representation of Roz. You know, like maybe I would put him in like a bit more pink. I think the glasses are okay. I think I would maybe tweak them just a little, but I think for the most part they're fine. I just feel like he's pretty divorced from Roz, and they really could have gone stronger with him. I think when it comes to aMazINC, it pains me to say this, I feel like Lafta is actually the closest to Mike, and I feel like is very, you know, I feel like he's so close to being an actually good design. I feel like he literally just needs, like, 1 or 2 tweaks and he's ready to go. Like, he's fine. Shu and Noah, although I really love their designs in a vacuum, I think that they would need more work than, like, Lafta would. You know what I mean? Maybe I should have put attractive, but who is this underneath? You know what? It's fine. We're here. We're just gonna keep going for it. Anyways, overall, aMazINC, better than Upbeats, but, like, still kind of missing the mark. Next up, we have Lise. I really don't know where to put him. I really don't know where to put him. You know, I think ultimately, well, you know what? I do, spiritually, he should be in a Marlon Blando. If I'm being fair, an attempt was made. He does read his bell. I see that you look at him, he does read his bell, which is good. We like that. However, I don't know if I like this as an interpretation of Belle. What is going on with his mullet? I'm not gonna lie, if they chopped the mullet off, he would go in an actually good design. I mean, he's still bland, but like, I mean, that is part of it too. I think that he is just very bland, and I do think we could have gone a little bit stronger with Belle, but I think overall he's actually fairly strong. The mullet thing gets me though. Like, the weird mullet thing, why? Like, that's so unnecessary. Like, I feel like, again, like, Lise is actually like a pretty strong, like, design. Is he bland? Yeah, but like, you can still tell that he's Belle. Once they chop the mullet off, he can go into an actually good design, and I'll be nice and put him there, even though I still think that he's just kind of bland for me personally, but like, well, actually, maybe I should put him up there. I mean, the mullet makes no goddamn sense. Like, the outfits are already kind of leaning into Beauty and the Beast. The only thing that I could say about his hair is that, like, oh, it's referencing Belle's blue dress and her, like, yellow ball gown, and I'm like, no, like, he should not have that. You know what? I am gonna keep him here. Again, once he cuts off the mullet, he can move into an actually good design, but for now, he has to stay there, because the mullet makes no sense. Like, I think that is just such a weird design, and also to not make it brown and have it be, like, this, like, yellow, like, blue ombre. Why did we do that? Next up, we have Sean. I'm so torn. I really find Sean extremely attractive. I'm not gonna lie. I do have critiques on him, though. But you know what, yeah, I mean, it pains me to put him in there, but, like, he's not quite there yet. I will say, I think it's really fucking weird that Endelore, like, made their villain character and their, you know, for the majority of the movie, non-human character, melanated. I think that's a really fucking weird decision. And it's one of those things, like, on one hand, I'm like, yay, like, half of the, like, subunit has melanin, that's fantastic. But on the other hand, I'm like, oh, the characters they chose, that feels a bit strange to me. Like, that feels a little bit charged. I don't know, maybe I'm just being overly sensitive about it as a white person, but, like, I don't know, it feels a little bit weird to me. I do find Sean incredibly attractive. I do, wish that they drew his, Noah's, Hugh, and, Nicola's hands correctly. Like, guys, it's very easy to just look up what melanated people's hands look like. Sean is attractive. He's very attractive. And I can see some of the, like, Beast vibes they were going for. Like, his hair's, like, two-tone, kind of like the Beast's. I don't know if I really necessarily like the red color on him. I think maybe we could have just tweaked that color a little bit to, like, complement his skin better. I don't think it's the best match, but he's attractive. I'll give him that. He doesn't really read as Beast to me, though. He honestly really doesn't. I see the couple things they did do. I think that things need to be tweaked and everything, and yeah. Next up, we have Nicola, and I think ultimately I am putting him in Who the F is This? So I am doing these characters in the, you know, release order, or like announcement order, whatever you want to call it. And of course, when I first saw Nicola and I saw the red hair and the red image color, I was like, is he the Rose? What? And I was so confused, and then I read the tweet and it made it very clear that he's like Spark from Gaston. You could not, what? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like visually he leans way more towards a Rose than he does with Gaston. I think that Nicola is very attractive. I will fully just say that. I think he's very attractive. But that being said, I think that it's such a strange take on Gaston. like, one, I think it's just a strange take on him that I didn't even recognize him, but I think it's also worse that when I saw him, I just automatically assumed the rose. Like, you have to be careful when you're doing color with, like, Beauty and the Beast inspired stuff, because, like, if someone sees red, they're gonna think of the rose, because, like, a lot of roses are red. Like, I don't think that his image color being red is, like, necessarily that bad of a decision, because, you know, like, Gaston is red, but I think the overwhelming red on him makes him look more like the rose rather than, you know, Gaston. I think they just really missed the mark on him. I do think he's attractive. I just think that he really does not scream Gaston to me. And finally, we have Sue, who actually is sparked from the rose. I genuinely just think this design, like, again, he's pretty. He's okay. I think this is a horrible, 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 horrible representation of the rose. I really think he should have been the one to have red hair. I think the red eyes is, like, nice, but I just think it missed every single mark possible. I get that you want to give the Gaston character the red image color, and then the other character can, you know, have green or whatever, because, like, roses are green too. Like, the stems are green and stuff. I just don't think that Sue's, like, design screams rose to me. It really doesn't, and it's like, again, it's like, who the f is this supposed to be? Like, I can't tell. I'm not gonna lie, Endelore's kind of a mess. And finally, we have, Midvail. And I will reference the life-changing tweet, are they called Midvail because they're mid? I'm not gonna lie, I think of that tweet literally like every other day. So first up, we have Ellie, and I think his design's actually really good. It is a little bland, but I think ultimately you look at him and you immediately know that he's based off of Cinderella. And also, I just, like, his design's, like, pretty good. I do think it's, like, a little bland, but I don't think it's as bland as some of the other designs, or it's not as, like, as the other designs. I really, really like his design, and I think that, you know, for Sparklink, it is most definitely one of the better ones. Next up, we have Ash, who is twisted from, one of these slippers that Cinderella wears, like the, you know, the glass slippers and stuff. He's bland. I do think it is kind of, you know, wild in a story like, Cinderella, where you have, like, the mice, you have the stepsisters, you have the prince, to immediately jump to 2 shoes for character inspiration, and we'll get to the other one a bit. Like, the glass slipper, yeah, I guess, like, that makes sense. I think it is a bit odd, but, like, you know, it kind of makes sense. But I do think maybe other characters would have been a better fit for this, but I digress. That being said, like, I just don't, he doesn't really scream, like, the shoe to me. The hair, I kind of like, oh yeah, I kind of get it, but I just think this is bland. I think that he would need a lot of work, and honestly, maybe an entire rework. I really just don't like this design. And finally, we have Rent, named after Jonathan Larson. He's not named after Jonathan Larson's musical, although that would be actually very funny. You know what, I also have to do this one. He's also who the f is this? Because genuinely, a lot of people were very, like, confused of who he was based off of. Like, the name just sucks. I think a lot of people are kind of like, oh, it's like the shoe that was loaned out for people to try on, like, that's like renting. And I'm like, we really just could not have thought of, like, a different name for him. You know, a lot of people were like, who is this supposed to be? But why are we going with another shoe? Why are we going for a, like, another inanimate object when there are other characters that we could be using in Cinderella? Like, it's such a baffling decision. And the fact that it wasn't just me and my friends that were like, what? But loads of people in the comments that were like, is it supposed to be like this? I think that does kind of inherently mean that you did fail with a character design. I do kind of think Rent is attractive, and I think he's fine in a vacuum. I do have a soft spot for purple hair men, but, like, I think that the fact that, a lot of people, okay, for what it's worth, I did see a lot of people immediately, recognizing Ash as being sparked from the, glass slipper. While I do think his design is bland, and I think that he does need some work just in general, I did see a lot of people in the comments of, like, his, you know, announcement post that immediately recognized that. That being said, I saw mostly people being confused about Rent. And it's like, while I do think he is pretty, I think that it's just like, everyone was like, who is this? And then finally, when they posted the, like, full-size character, you know, promo images, people were like, oh, so he's like the other shoe? I think that it's just too confusing, and I really, really think that they just should have gone with a different character in general. I mean, I think they should have done that for, you know, Ash as well, but like, especially for Rent, I feel like his was so confusing to so many people, and I feel like, again, when you're working with a project like this where it's like, you know, inspired by Disney characters, the fact that so many people were so confused about this character, I feel like it's just like you kind of inherently failed at that design. You know, like, he's pretty, but nobody knew who he was. Hi, Editor Mari here. I want to pop in here and explain my point better because past me didn't. This is why I rarely do videos that aren't scripted, but anyway. The main issue I have with Rent's design is that it's confusing who he's sparked from, and it doesn't really tell us much about him. The difference between him and someone like Jack is that with Jack, although we're still confused who he's twisted from, we know at a glance he's some kind of white wolf character and he means business. While he does have confusion around him, he's a very strong character design and you can get a very surface level understanding of him in just a glance. Rent is absolutely not that. He's got confusion around him like Jack, but his design and pose tell us nothing about him as a person, and that's my main problem. And also, I don't think he's a good representation of the other shoe. Okay, bye. Anyway, so that's the ranking of all of the Sparklink characters as of right now. Maybe they'll add more, I don't know. I can't say that I'm really excited for this game. I'm not gonna lie, part of my excitement when they first announced this was, one, it looked interesting, but two, I was like, yay, a game that I can get on board with and I can start making content for at the very get-go. And now that there's all this stuff going on, like character design and AI allegations-wise, I'm like, oh, maybe, maybe I should not. Maybe we should not be adding Sparklink to the roster. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still kind of torn on whether I will or not. I'm gonna be doing the AI allegations video and the controversies, but like, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like, I was fully planning to go into this and go into Sparklink and do translations and stuff and, you know, unit analyses when the game eventually came out. But frankly, I don't even know if I'm gonna do that. I really don't. These designs just suck. I don't like these designs. There are some that I do, like, enjoy, but the majority of them I just really don't like. I don't really know how to end this video. I've been recording for like an hour now, so I'm just kind of like brain empty, no thoughts. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts on the character designs and things. Do you agree with my rankings? Do you disagree? How much do you hate Dee Dee Cedric Bird's name? And before we go, I'd like to give a big shout out to my ladyfingers in waiting who support me and allow me to continue to do this. A massive thank you and telepathic snacky treat to Meechgal2189, Visa, Orion, Gwen, Lee, Dorcas, Richter32, Crowd Jail, Lady Lunarine, Yungumo, Farafo, Yoza Kisaki, and Dorcas2. Thank you guys, and I'm Kiryu. If you'd like to join the Ladyfingers in Waiting, I have memberships here on YouTube, and I also have subs on Twitch if that's like more of your thing. And if you've made it this far, thank you too. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me and hearing me out on these. And yeah, bye-bye!